Hi everyone, this is Kim Verdensky, your composition instructor, following up on your development of your social science papers. So last week in the course home area of our course, I posted a short video for you to please review to help you get started with choosing a topic and thinking about how to narrow your topic. So hopefully you started by watching that video that was available here for you in the news area. And as always, please email me or message me at my Google number if you need any assistance. We can always set up a Zoom conference call to help you through any needs or issues that you might come across. I had also posted information about completing a student survey. The survey is important to help develop resources that will be available for students. So if you haven't had an opportunity to complete the survey, please do so. It is important that you only complete it once though, so if you've already done it for another course, there's no need to do it again. Additionally, the college is offering suicide awareness programs for all of members of the community, students, faculty, staff, anyone that could benefit from the information. So please make sure that you do check your calendar, check your news area, as I will use that frequently to help students be successful. In your calendar area, you can see the assignments coming up for this week are all due at the end of the week, including Social Science Reading 2 and Outline, APA in-text citations, and PI, which stands for Point, Info, Explain method for quotes. So we're going to signal phrase to all of our quotes. We're going to make sure it follows our point. We have our in-text citation. So all of the sources and assignments for this week deal with appropriately using evidence. That is the foundation for this assignment. All of the ideas about your solutions need to come from evidence. Okay, so with that, I'm going to go ahead and go a little bit further into our course and take a look at this week's exercises. So in the PreWrite unit, we are looking at another social science reading. The goal of these social science readings are that students are practicing the APA format and APA style of in-text citation and signal phrases. So please make sure that we're going to the sources that I'm providing for you to acquaint you with when should we use quotations, when should we paraphrase, and when should we summarize. For our purposes, most of your content should be paraphrased and summarized so that it flows with the voice of the student. We only want to use direct quoting when something is said so precisely, so well, that it could never be said any better. And we always want to make sure that for academic writing, we are limiting our quotation, things that we're borrowing word for word, to less than 20 or 25%, which would mean for every 100 words, a maximum of 25 words could come from somewhere else. Right? So hopefully that numerical equation gives you a better concept of how many in-text direct quotations you should use. So again, we want to work on paraphrasing. Paraphrasing is when I've read an article or I've read a paragraph and I'm putting most of the author's original ideas into my own words. It's still not my original idea, so I can't claim that it's my own. I have to give credit where credit is due. I'm giving credit by an in-text citation. So this Ashford University page that we're looking at offers explanations of when to quote, when to paraphrase, when to summarize. Then it breaks it down real nicely on some tutorial videos about how to integrate research, because not only are we going to use evidence to support our claims, but we're also going to use multiple sources in each paragraph. So one of our biggest objectives is that each paragraph includes more than 2 sources, or at least 2 sources. That's 2 different sources. Otherwise, a student is likely just to read an article, summarize that article, go read another article, and then summarize that article. We want to try to take it to the next level of thinking. Well, how can we look at what's been done in Article 1 and what's been in Article 2 and maybe blend that together to make our own suggestion, our own inferences? Maybe you can connect this with the idea of cooking pancakes. And if we just mix it a little bit, it's going to be all lumpy and it's not going to cook real well. But if we mix it smoothly and we blend in multiple sources of evidence in my own words by using paraphrase and summary, then I have a really nice batter that will make a nice fluffy pancake. Okay, so please make sure that you take the time to watch the videos, because again, this is like our textbook, right? This is how we are learning the skills that we're expected to demonstrate in our writing. And so the idea is that we continue to improve our writing process, and we're going to use the resources provided within the lessons to do so. So let me go ahead and take a step back into our course content. So that's the first link that appears for you under the pre-writing assignment. I did also include a second link that talks about the peel process. And I really like this handout because it's kind of juvenile, you know, it makes you smile. It's got these silly yellow bananas on it. But it gives a great visual and a great acronym that students can use to help remember a focused paragraph is peeled. It has a point, it has evidence, it explains the evidence, and it links back to the point or the topic sentence, all of which link back to the thesis. So if we peel our paragraphs, we will have a well-focused, well-developed document. So we have an example using the peel process. And because we have explain and examples, we can flip-flop these. We can do our examples first and then explain, or we can do an explanation that leads into our examples. So that's another great way of creating your unique voice, is by flip-flopping the ease and peel. But if you can look at your paragraph and say, have I peeled it? I have 1 or more examples to support your point. Well, we know we're going to use more than 1 example, because I need to use evidence from at least 2 different sources, so that I've synthesized, I've blended, I've made that nice lump-free batter. Okay, so work on peeling our process and peeling our paragraphs. If we try to do this up front using the outline process that we used with the humanities piece, and we will use a little bit more in depth for this piece, we will have a focused paragraph. This essay is only 600 to 800 words, so there's a lot that needs to be done in those 600 to 800 words. So utilizing the links and the content that are in the assignment descriptions is very important. Please try to refrain from just going through and completing without thinking about what we're completing. So the assignment asks that you discuss the author's purpose and why it's a social concern, just like the reading from number 1. So you're going to choose a different source and go through the same process. The goal in the assignment is that you are practicing what will be done for the formal essay. And as I continue to provide feedback on the humanities essay and provide feedback on social science 1 submissions, we want to apply those comments to our continued developments. Okay, go back and look. What did Professor Verdensky say about how I used my quotations or how I used my citations. I have posted messages on how to access Turnitin comments, as that is how I will most frequently make comments. To continue to develop student use of quotations, we have the Writing Center commentary on how to, again, paraphrase and summarize and use this PI method. Okay, so that's another resource for you, another example, as is the APA in-text citations. So not only do we have to know, are we direct quoting, are we going to paraphrase, or are we going to summarize? All of them require that we give credit. Okay? So in MLA, we don't do page numbers. Okay? So in APA, how to cite page numbers in APA format when no page numbers are given. So sometimes you might have something that looks like page 23, but most of the times we are going to cite things by the year of publication. When we're dealing with social issues and science issues, the most important thing is when something was issued, not necessarily what page number it was on. Okay, so our in-text citations should look like this, where we have our author's last names and year of publication and paragraph number if available. However, if I have used the author's last names in my signal phrase, then I'm just going to quote the year of publication. And in this example, I've used a direct quote. Okay? Al offers all of this information as well, as does that Ashford source that we have looked at multiple times. Okay, so this information is available in multiple different locations. So please make sure that we're taking advantage of the various different options of perfecting this process. Okay. So in-text citations, again, the idea is that we are giving credit where credit is due. The most important thing is the author's name, then the year of publication. If we don't have an author's name, our in-text citation will be the title of the web page from which the information comes from. That moves us into, okay, I've read my three sources, my minimum of 3 sources. I have developed their in-text citation based upon the information that would appear in the reference list. So for example, if I were using this information from Firestone, my in-text citation would be Firestone, 2017, giving credit to the author and the year that the article was published. There is a template, just like last time, for you to follow to help focus your development. I've also included a student sample. So we're going to go ahead and open this student sample and take a look at it and discuss what the student has done well. So the student has listed their name, the course, the instructor, and the day, month, year the assignment was due. They've titled the assignment and they've added the title of their subject. The outline process has an introduction. It starts with a hook. In this case, this student is using a piece of evidence according to Moat Marine Laboratory and Aquarium. We now know where this information is coming from. However, there should have also been an in-text citation. Okay, so again, it's a student sample. It's not perfect. The in-text citation might look something like this, but even it is still not perfect, because if we're going to cite the name of a web page, we should be citing the name of the page, not just the URL. Okay, so when looking at this student sample, I really want students to remember it is a student sample. It is not perfect, but it does a great job of developing the purpose of the essay. It does a great job of developing the student's voice and recognizing that the student has gathered information. The student has thought about the focus of the essay, which is the solutions. This is a problem solution paper. The introduction talks about the problem, but the body, the meat, the bulk of the paper is about the solutions. So based upon what's already being done, or what has been done for this issue elsewhere in the world, what can we Floridians do? So the student does a really nice job of utilizing third-person pronouns, of using signal phrases to introduce evidence. So here we have a very nicely developed in-text citation. We have the author's last name and then the year of publication. So the student was uncertain of how to cite a web page, and that was one of the comments that was given to them. Make sure you check and use OWL on how to cite a web page using APA. They've clearly identified their thesis. So it says, although the invasion of red tide is complicated and has many facets, it is vital to address the complicated issue and develop remedies for its impact on Florida communities, such as cooperative wildlife and conservation departments and the citizens of the state and the government assistance in appointing the appropriate funds and leadership for the issue. So it's a little bit of a run-on, but I know that the first paragraph, the first solution, is going to be cooperative wildlife and conservation departments and the citizens. So we're going to be talking about what can each individual citizen do. Then we're going to talk about another paragraph that's about governmental assistance in appointing the appropriate funds and leadership for the issue. So this is going to deal with what should the government do. And then the first solution is what should the citizens do based upon what the wildlife and conservation departments say. So citizen responsibility, government responsibility. Those are the two potential solutions to this red tide issue. Once I've described the issue in my introduction, I'm not providing any more explanation of the issue. Now I'm providing how do I solve it. Okay? So Roman numeral 2 is solution number 1. My topic sentence: the first plan of rectifying the damages of red tide is to educate the public of the individual impacts and agree to adhere to watering and fertilizing bans. So what do the citizens need to do? They need to agree to adhere to watering and fertilizing bans. So everything in this paragraph should be about how citizens are going to follow and adhere watering and fertilizing bans. I have a piece of evidence from this Science and Environmental Council website. Okay, they've endorsed a marketing campaign, so now I have something concrete that I'm talking about. And I have an in-text citation. Again, the student was uncertain of how to cite an APA web page, so they at least provided the URL, and they're going to go back and fix it. They've also recognized that their paragraph needs a second source. They only have one source. Each paragraph has to include 2 different sources. So by going through this outline process, a student can recognize, am I focused? Do I have enough evidence? This student recognized, I do not have enough evidence. Solution 2, the topic sentence reads, another potential remedy to address the devastation of red tide is developing strong legislative teams to work in cooperation with the citizens and the environmental groups to support, implement, and enforce strict environmental policy. So now we have our piece of evidence endorsed by the Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission's website. START is a nonprofit organization founded in 1996. The name stands for Solutions to Avoid Red Tide. START has been the leader in procuring funding for red tide research. According to START's website, the mission statement is working to reduce excess nutrients in a waterways that feed red tide, in our waterways, sorry. And this was the About Us page from this Fish and Wildlife site. Now, some of this is redundant, and we would want to look at combining the sentences for better flow. However, it's a good start. Remember, it's just an outline. It's not the finished product. But again, the student only has one source. So the student needs to find a second source to support their solution. Their conclusion: all citizens living in the communities along the Gulf of Mexico need to be aware of what they can do to help prevent the dreadful red tide. Just to name a few, according to START. And then they've listed the solutions. And so the conclusion of this problem solution essay is a call to action. What should the public do next? And my suggestion to the student was, rather than coming up with this and posting just this list, focus on a few specific ones that really agree with our previous points in our body paragraphs. So things like following the fertilizer ordinance, keeping the storm drains clean. These align with our solutions that we mentioned in our paragraphs. Contacting your local representatives aligns with the second solution, right? So we didn't really talk about managing bathroom waste. So this one isn't really an appropriate immediate call to action. Yes, it is something that people should do so that the water mains don't get backed up, but that's not really what was addressed in our essay. Nor is this one, dispose of kitchen waste properly. That doesn't, yes, it talks about how drains get clogged, but neither one of these things were clearly addressed within our body. So we don't want to bring in new information in our conclusion, but we do maybe want to encourage people to join local prevention organizations, right? That goes along with both of our paragraphs. Following the ordinances, keeping storm drains clean. Pet waste, we didn't talk about pets, so we wouldn't want that one there either. Okay, so really making sure that everything that we're offering in our writing supports our initial claim. By developing your outline using this full topic, sentence, and Roman numeral and bullet process, students can recognize I have enough information, and oh, I need more information about this, but I need to cut this stuff because it doesn't fit. Okay, so really going through and focusing on this outline process to make sure that we have sufficient sources. You've varied your type of sources. All of your information cannot come from the same website. Okay, so please make sure that we're looking at learning the proper processes for APA, focusing our topic by using an outline, and submitting the outline by the end of the week. As I continue to make comments and post scores for previous assignments, students should please make sure they're going back and then retrieving those comments and applying them to the current expectation. So I hope this helps with narrowing your social science topics and moving forward with the research and organization for this next essay. As always, use your calendar in the home area of the course to make sure that we're staying up to date. If there is something that is late from last week, please get it done. If you have fallen behind and need to develop a plan to get back on track, please make sure that you email or message me so that we can figure out a plan. Okay? Thank you very much for your participation, and I look forward to seeing your ideas. And as always, I can't stress enough, please email or message me and let me know how I can help you be successful. Thank you.